Hi, welcome to NAMM 2019. My name is Nick Trikakis. I'm here with Akai Professional. I'm going to show you the brand new Akai Force. So if we come in here, first thing you're going to notice is a beautiful multi-touch 7-inch display. This is the computer and the heart behind the product. Very responsive. On the left-hand side, you have essential controls like your transport, undo, save, your browser. You have a matrix which gives you an overview of your project where you can launch clips, see relevant information for the track, select your track, see the tempo and the key of your track as well. You have clip, which will give you a detailed view of your clip where you can easily edit. If I go over here to my scissor tool, I can make some cuts here. I can move around sections. I can reverse. I can turn that back. So a lot of versatility with the touchscreen. And the right-hand side, we have a clickable encoder that we call the data dial. This offers a tactile alternative to the touchscreen, and the buttons below that do the same in button form. And then a crossfader where you can assign specific tracks to either the A side or the B side of the crossfader. In the middle, we call these the knobs, and these control all of the different parameters. So as a standalone unit, you'll never have to touch a mouse. Everything can be controlled either with the buttons, the touchscreen, or these knobs here. You can set them up in a few different ways. Over here I have a synth selected. I can have them control master mixer controls like volume, panned, and sends 1 through 4. So right now we have volume, so all of the tracks are going to be controlled the volume there, and the same with the pans. I could set it up for screen. So now if I'm on my synthesizer, every parameter on the screen is now being controlled with the knobs, and there's 2 banks. So banks 1 through 8 and then 9 through 16, so I can control every parameter on the synthesizer. And there's a few different ways you can set it up as well. So on the track level, we've went ahead and put the 16th most relevant parameters already pre-mapped, but these can actually be changed. So say I'm a left-handed keyboard player and I want to have my filter over here where the saw gate is. All I have to do is select, and then I can go up and change it down to cutoff, and now I'm controlling the cutoff there. So these are changeable and customizable. And last but not least, I can change it on the project level, which means every single parameter, regardless of what track you're on, you can assign it to these 8 or 16 different sections of knobs. Below that I have my 64 velocity sensitive pads which operate on 3 different modes. I have launch mode. And in launch mode, each column represents a track, and then the rows represent a different section of the song. And if I want to play a specific clip, all I have to do is press it, and it will launch based on the quantization level that I have. You have notes mode, which allows you to play melody and harmony, as well as drums. So on this I have a drum track. And you see the lower left quadrant of my pads are populated with drum sounds, but I'm not constrained to this. If I want to break out and maybe take this sample and put it over here, all I have to do is use some of my quick edit buttons where I can silently select, I can edit, and if I do that, you can see the edit comes up on the screen, or I could copy is what I'm saying, and I can kind of paint that on and then make individual adjustments to that specific sample, like adjusting the pitch, as well as adding different effects. And it's a great place to mention that we have the Air effects collection that comes with this product. So if I wanted to add a delay, I go and I have a beautiful user interface there. Let's go over to a instrument track. And right here, this is my synth, one of the brand new synths that comes with. There's 4 synth engines that come with the Force. You have bassline, which is like a 303. You have an electric, which models an electric synth. An electric piano. Hype, which is our brand new synth, and tube synth, which models analog synths. So let me just kind of show you how that works. Go back to the track. And the way that I have my pad rows set up, which is a bunch of different ways, is right now I'm on scales mode. I'm on the natural minor scale. So the bottom octave is going to be here on the left-hand side, and the top octave is going to be here on the right-hand side. And then every note in between is going to be notes within the natural minor scale. And as I move up, this is the octave. So that's one new way of setting up the pads to play melody. And if I wanted to go to something that's a little bit more familiar, which would be start on the 4th, and then chromatic. Now the pads that are lit up and as I switch through my scales, the pads that light up are the ones that are within that scale. So there's a lot of different ways that you can set that up. By my math, there's over 1,000 different ways of setting up these pads just to play melody and harmony. On top of that, we have a step sequencer. For that, I'll go back to our drums. So the mode that I use most common is drum mode. On the lower left-hand side, I have my drum kit here. This is bank A, and I can select the sound. And then on the right-hand side, I have velocity. So this is the softest velocity, the hardest velocity. But if I have it on this blue pad right here, whatever I input in, the velocity will then show up. Very simple way of using the step sequencer. There's also a built-in arpeggiator with a bunch of different modes, and I'll go into my ARP configure. There's 4 different actions. You have the arpeggiator, you have note repeat, rhythm, and pattern. And I'll show you the patterns. If I go down, there are dozens of different patterns that I can choose from. So if I wanted like a dance chord, I could choose that, go over to an instrument track, turn on the ARP. Or I could go back to my traditional arpeggiator and then maybe pick up a different pattern here. So we can set up to random. A dedicated tap tempo button, and then these 4 buttons right here will change the behavior of the bottom row of pads. So I can set them up to mute, solo, which can also cue, record arm, and clip stop. If I'm on a drum track, the mute will also mute on the pad level. So when the pad turns right, that will be muted. On the back of the device, part of my keys there's 2 instrument inputs, combination XLR and 1/4 inch, as well as 4 CV gate outs, MIDI in, out, and through, and 4 balanced outputs. And you also see that I have a USB key plugged in here, and that contains some projects that I have, USB 3 as well as a link. The same sampler that comes with the MPC is in here. So if I go into the main menu, and I choose my sampler, one of the things I should add is the auto sample feature that came out in MPC 2.3 is also in this standalone unit. And that is the Akai Force. Contact your Long & McQuade sales representative to purchase your own.
Thanks for watching. To be notified of more videos from our trip to NAMM this year, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon. Leave a comment or question below and check out our video playlist of all the latest and greatest products at NAMM.